Alright, we've had our fun. Now it's time to return to the grueling business of playing the game. Boss told us to go to the Omikron library to find a parchment from the Cobalt Wars that mentioned Astaroth, on the off chance that it might mention how to defeat him.
Well, did you get to see Boss?
Oh, hey. You can just tell her to eat shit if you want.
Jeez, he told me the only way to save my soul is to kill Astaroth.
I was afraid he'd say that. Killing a demon from the last circle is no easy task. Astaroth is the worst enemy you could face. First you'll have to discover how to kill him, if there's a way.
The answer might be in a parchment in the library. Is everything alright at the base?
Boss has decided to abandon our Janpur base. After Namtar's betrayal, it would have been too dangerous to stay in the same place.
Where is the new base?
In the cliff, behind Lahora Library. Dakoba and the others are already there.
See you later, Jenna.
I love that killing Astaroth is no easy task. Really, Jenna? Killing the God King of all devils ain't a cakewalk? Alright, first we're gonna do a little run around the outside to gather books lying around. Some of this might be useful to see where we need to start. Parallel universes. 2 columns stand in the ground. Viagramuka's eye sleeps on high. By the feet a river swirls round. Follow its path and find your prize. That'll come into play later. We'll hang on to that. Okay, we've cleaned out the tables around the outside. Let's head into the center.
I'm sorry. Only researchers have access to the last floor of the library. Please move along.
Of course, access to the area I need to be in is restricted. You can interact with any of the bookshelves to get a look at the available books here. I'm not going to waste your time methodically working from one book to the next. As I recall, that was a thing you actually have to do in Indigo Prophecy. Let's see, I need the Table of Cosmic Correspondence, I think the Quartat Systemis, and Masao Runes. You might find out more about which books you need if you get the books on the Cobalt Wars, since Boss talked about that. So we've got a partial alphabet of runes for use in the future. Okay, we're gonna have to beat this nerd. Now we are Enyad, a researcher. This is another mandatory reincarnation, as in you can't progress unless you switch to his body. He has an apartment, but not in Lahore. We'll have to go back to Jaunpur to visit it. Our street. Cute. Becoming Enyad lets us into the restricted area of the library. In order to prevent you from switching to another body, the game doesn't let you leave the library until you finish what you have to do.
Hello, Professor. Have a nice day.
Have a super one yourself. So this tiny room is the occult section. Even in here, it's under guard. The guard makes sure no one takes out any books. Isn't that the purpose of a library? So, Chronicles of the Cobalt Wars mentions the hero Kushulain, who fought Astaroth. I have no idea why a book about Boz is allowed to be here. You'd think they destroy stuff like that. And the secret of the weapon that can kill Astaroth is written in the Book of Naut. Okay, the Book of Naut, written by the sorcerer Matambukus, hidden in Hamastagan, so we need to find out where that is. And this should tell us where the entrance to Hamastagan is, but it's untranslated. So that's a dead end. Let's have a chat with this fellow egghead.
Hello, colleague. I'm trying to translate a document from a foreign language. Can you help me?
Get a Tradutech. It's a small computer like this one, and it can translate into all known languages.
Can I borrow yours?
I might be able to lend it to you if you do me a small favor. At present, I'm doing some research on astronomy. I'm looking for the Egmar index of the third planet of the fourth system. I'm too old to explore the library in search of it. Bring me back the information I want, and I'll lend you my Tradutech.
No sooner said than done.
Too old. More like too lazy, dude. How old are you? Okay, the Egmar index of the third planet in the fourth system. Fourth system, so the book I need is the Quartat Systemis. I guess the third planet is Calicia. I need its cosmic coefficient, which is 13.5. Now I need to switch to the table of cosmic correspondence, which I also picked up downstairs. 13.5 means an Egmar index of 0.1851.
.1851.
Perfect. That's the information I needed in order to be able to finish my calculations. Here's my Tradutech, and thanks for your assistance.
Thanks.
If the Tradutech looks at all familiar, it's because it's the same graphic used to represent the map in your sneak. The correct answer is only in the dialogue if you've actually looked at the books. If you can't figure it out, then you'd at least be able to brute force it by noticing the same number keeps appearing in the dialogue. So even though this guy was apparently using a Tradutech in the library, I have to for some reason be secretive about it. So we switch off the light, I go into my sneak and perform the translation. He who would trouble the peace of the dead in the sacred necropolis of Hamastagan must unite the 3 jewels of Viagramuka. The first 2 jewels, which were lost to the fury of Cobalt, may still be of this world. The third, the right eye of the god, still sleeps at the bottom of Irmali Well. When the 3 stones are reunited, to the temple of Kiwan the magician must go, to beg the blessing of the dead by bringing back to life the magician Kiwan himself. Okay, to summarize, to get to Hamastagan, I need the 3 jewels of Viagramuka. One is at the bottom of Irmali Well, and when I have all 3, I have to bring some dude called Kiwan back to life. Yeah, whatever. Yep, gotta dump out the books, and yeah, they make you do it book by book. Okay, we're gonna go see what's up at Enya's apartment, but first let's stop by Kalazar. A new face has appeared in the abandoned temple here, which I visited earlier to open a secret cache with the reincarnation spell. So this guy seems overdressed for the climate, and you might recognize him from a brief moment in the intro movie where he was riding an animal through a snowstorm. That appears to be another sequence cut from the game. This guy is a Kamichi who live in the snowy lands outside of the dome that covers Omikron. This fellow is Nuya-san. He has pretty good stats, and he comes with a bowl of spices, which looks like it was textured in MS Paint, and which gives you a temporary stat boost, just like Kazmat's can of liquor. Let's take Nuya-san to Enyad's apartment in Jaunpur. And before we head in, we'll have a sniff of these spices. I'm not sure if the earthquake effect is like your character's heart rate going crazy, but it wears off in a second. So here's why I stopped to pick up Nuya-san before I came here. You encounter a demon in the lobby, and if you're still Eniad, you'll find that his stats are really weak, so the game kinda kicks you in the nuts over here. Thanks for the usual. Obviously, there's books on science and history all over the apartment. Another Dreamer song we haven't heard. Okay, well, I don't like this song very much. Let's clean up the inventory and get on our way again. Well, there are no sliders in Lahore. If you pick a location in Lahore from one of the other districts, you do get dropped off there. Convenient. The entrance to the new Awakened base is supposed to be in the cliffs behind the library. It's actually more accurate to say that it's behind the bank. Nice place. There's the gang. Nope. Did she see that desk blink into existence?
Very interesting. This text explains how to get to Hammerstagen, the city of the dead.
Jen is leaning on nothing.
You must bring together 3 jewels. The jewels of Vyagramuka, the god of art.
What are those?
The only indication refers to the 3rd, the right eye of the god. It says it's still at the bottom of Irmali Well.
What's that?
I don't know of any well of that name. But there's an Irmali Square in this sector. Perhaps you should go take a look. Reshev knows the Book of Naut is in Hammerstagen. If he had the book, he would have almost infinite magical powers. It will make a god of him. A god of evil. The text refers to Kiwan, the Magus. It says that when the 3 jewels are brought together, you must go to his tomb and bring him back to life. Kiwan is the guardian of the necropolis. He will show you the entrance to Hammerstagen. Kiwan was a powerful magus. He is the last guardian of the City of the Dead. He took the secret of the entrance to Hammerstagen with him to the grave. His tomb is situated in Jahangir Park. I've told you all I know. I sincerely hope that finding the Book of Naut will enable you to save your soul, and help us get rid of Astaroth forever.
You can't talk to Jenna. Man, Dagobah's face was just trying to escape his skull there. Okay, this pulled out camera is kind of screwing with me. I'm trying to pick up some rings. There we go. So I'm looking for Vayakramuka's jewels, one of which I already have from the temple in the Old Awakened base. At this point in the game, there's a serious escalation of backstory. In my limited experience, this kind of late-stage lore dumping is kind of common for Quantic Dream games. Proper pacing is like a consistent issue for David Cage. Omikron has elements of a good story, but fails utterly at telling it. Mixing magic with a sci-fi world is tricky, but a technologically advanced city ruled by an oppressive computer, built on the ruins of a civilization that dealt with magic and demons, has potential. But the background of Omikron is told almost entirely in documents you have to hunt down and buy, and it's absolutely not engaging enough to make that attractive. By the time the game's characters start shoveling lore by the wagon load, any sane player tunes out. All of this stuff with names borrowed from like a dozen random cultures, Hammerstagen, Kushalain, the Book of Doubt, Vayakramuka, Matambukus, whatever man, I'm just trying to get to the end of the game, okay? So, as I mentioned, Stu Pidd, the same heroic figure who died for David Cage's sins and wrote the only FAQ for it, also took the game apart and uncovered a bunch of lost content. A lot of it isn't terribly interesting. I already mentioned the fighting gloves earlier, and there were some other minor scrapped items, characters, and locations. But what they found of unused dialogue is more interesting. A lot of content with the Awakened got cut. Fuan, the kind of racist Asian shopkeeper in Kalazar, was apparently going to be a member of the Awakened Rebel group and be your source for weapons. You were going to have more missions to do for the Awakened, like assassinating 2 ministers at a restaurant with Jenna per Boz's orders, or maybe because Namtor was pretending they were Boz's orders. You were going to steal jewels from the Kansu Trust HQ and from a museum, undoubtedly Vayakramuka's jewels, which I'm now on the hunt for. The mission to steal the museum jewel would have had you partner up with Krill. From the missing dialogue, it appears to have been a long mission which would end with Krill growing to respect and appreciate you. I probably could have hung on to Nuyasan just a little longer. The thing is, there's still a bunch of bodies to get through, and we're getting closer to the game's end. So we become Neomei, a bitchy, backstabbing actress. Her apartment's in Jaunpur again. Nothing of much interest in Neomei's apartment. Transcan tapes, newspaper, food items. She does have a gem, a green version of Xiao's, which she can sell at the bank. Okay, on with the show. Here's Ermali Square, which is the Lahora apartment building we visited earlier. In the lobby we have some obvious puzzle elements. There's 4 pillars that have a different symbol on each side, and this big stone triangle pointing to the map on the wall. So, this old map you can lay over the map in your sneak. You'll want to make a rough sketch of it if you're doing this puzzle. The 4 purple squares are locations you need to visit. In each location you find one of these wall carvings. Each has a triangle and a symbol in one corner corresponding to the 4 pillars in the lobby. Three of them are easy to find, the 4th is not. And if at this point you're constantly referencing Stupid's walkthrough to get you through these crappy puzzles so you can make some progress, you might decide to just spoil yourself on the solution or brute force the last symbol. That can kind of fuck you over later. See, while you're likely to look for the fourth symbol on the ground floor like all the others, for the fourth one you have to go up this curving ramp to find a second sorcery shop. Here's the last symbol hidden by the chunk of pillar. This sorcery shop, despite having the same mystic butthole behind the counter, has a different assortment of goods on offer. And you're gonna need an item from here. Well, more on that later.
What can I do for you, stranger?
Put in the 4 symbols on the pillars relative to their position on the triangle stone. Just to fuck with you, one symbol doesn't get used, and the waving lines get used twice. Oh man, does David Cage have such puzzles to show you. We start with a tone puzzle that works like the game Simon. You reproduce first a 4-tone sequence, then a 6-tone one. I notice now that I'm doing commentary that I left a potion lying against the far wall, probably a mana or life potion. Ah, well, no shortage of those. The next puzzle is overcoming the incredibly poorly thought out collision of a triangular platform. So the game explicitly calls your attention to the 6 symbols with numbers carved next to them in the platform. In the next room, there are a series of sarcophagi suspended from the ceiling. In each of the 4 walls is a hole that has one of the 4 symbols I just saw in it. Each sarcophagus has a stone in it, and each is marked as Viacramuka's jewel. So the puzzle is about finding the way to the correct one. Stupid saves you the trouble and just directs you straight to the right one, but out of curiosity I try to work backwards from the solution to figure out how you were supposed to find it on your own. It's a shitty puzzle, 1, because it's unclear how you're supposed to read the solution and from where you're supposed to start counting, and 2, because if you pick up the wrong jewel, you'll find out once you're like 2 hours further and the game drops a "it doesn't work" prompt on you when you try to use it. Well, the solution reads top to bottom, and you count the bottom sarcophagus as 1. So 3 north, 2 east, 1 south, 3 west, 2 north, 2 east. Or just run straight north from the first sarcophagus and then go 1 east. There's your gem. Thanks, Stupid. And fuck you, Cage. Okay, that's it for now, but I warn you, there's more puzzles ahead.